Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of the MFFL Nation Podcast. Today, I'm here with some friends of mine, TGK and STiX, who run a Mavs pregame show as well, or the Mavs pregame show as well, I should say. Guys, how's it going?
Going good, man. We're obviously coming off of a big win against the Minnesota Timberwolves, so I know we're on cloud. I'm on cloud 9. I don't know what cloud STiX is on, but we're here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah, that was pretty. It was a bit of a frustrating game to start, and then it got better and better, and then so it's pretty good night right now.
Yeah, it was a very exciting win. Obviously, I would say the two standout players, or you know what, there's a lot of standout players, but the guys who really stuck out to me tonight were Kyrie Irving and PJ Washington. No discredit to Dereck Lively whatsoever, but what Kyrie was able to do in the second half, I mean, just take the team on his back, I thought was very impressive. And then you look at PJ Washington, something that we discussed in last night's game as well, just making the hustle plays. When the shot's not going down, finding a way to make the hustle plays. And eventually the shot was going down. And tonight, just again, a great performance, 17 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. It was Mr. Do-It-All again, and it was really cool to see.
Oh, I agree. I think I know there was a lot of criticisms of him. I think it was game 1 and game 2. He was getting a lot of criticism, a lot of flack. But, like we've been saying, it's early in the season, so to hedge on a take for the rest of the season after game 2 is kind of insane. But he's coming around and he's showing you what he was able to do against the Thunder in the playoffs. And to be that, to do all the dirty work, right? Like that one rebound in the fourth quarter where he got over Rudy Gobert, went and snatched that rebound to give us a second attempt at a shot. It's just everything he's been doing. He was 3 for 6 from 3 today. Can you complain about 50% from 3? I doubted it. And if you tried, I don't know what to say, right? But PJ Washington, man, great. He's been fantastic the last 2 games for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I made him player of the game for a reason for our pregame for the previous game. So, I mean, same thing, same hustle. He's hitting hit his threes today. He's all over the place. I mean, I think maybe they finally found the role for him that he needs to be playing. Yeah. I think they've tried to too much put him as an ISO on the and do these things against certain guys, and it's just like let him roam, let him use his athleticism, and it's been really nice to see these two games. So, yeah. And all I heard was, well, that was Utah Jazz. Well, that was the Minnesota Timberwolves. So what now?
And it was tough matchups for PJ the whole night. He was having to work on both ends of the floor. You talk about Dereck Lively, someone who's been a standout player for the Dallas Mavericks this year. And then you go on X, all of Instagram, and there's the debate. Should Dereck Lively be starting? Or should Daniel Gafford be starting? And, man, I'm so conflicted between this. You look at it, and Dereck Lively second is the better player. And that's no diss to Daniel Gafford. I'm a huge Daniel Gafford fan. He's been very solid for us this season. He was a part of that 18-2 post-deadline run last season. He was one of the main reasons we made it to the finals. But something that the Locked On Mavs guys even brought up is that you want to win those starter minutes. And I do believe that Dereck Lively is a better fit with Klay Thompson than Daniel Gafford is. But then he shuts me up tonight. 6 for 6 from the field, was great with the starters, did a phenomenal job against Gobert, outplayed him in every aspect of the game, I believe. Where are you guys at with the whole starting lineup discussion?
You want to go, STiX?
Yeah, I'll take this one first. So I think if you notice tonight, when they made a couple runs on us, I couldn't watch all the first half. I had to go to an event first that I promised someone to be at, so I was kind of watching on my phone. So I didn't catch all of it, but I did enough that when they went on that run again in the second half, Gafford was in, and if every time Lively comes in, yeah, he doesn't have the blocks, but he had 3 steals I think tonight.
Yep.
He had 1 block. And if you look at all the times that he affected those shots and kept them from being able to get it, it just seems like a better lineup. Like, he makes the difference. Gafford's a good change of pace, I think, but I think Lively has more than proven he deserves the starting spot, and he affects everything they're able to do. So I think he needs to be there.
Yeah, I mean, and 4 games is a short sample size, right? But when we're looking, I'm big on 5-man lineups. I'm big on like looking at advanced analytics, Mason. And so when I see this, right, I see the starting 5 with Gafford. They are a plus 8.8, an offensive rating of 117, a defensive rating of 108. It means you're playing pretty good.
Is this including tonight's game?
Including tonight's game.
Okay.
And what's weird is when you look at that same lineup, the starting 5, but instead of Gafford with Lively, we're at minus 36 with Lively in the lineup. And it blows my mind. It doesn't make sense, right? But then you'll see a lineup like Kyrie, Dinwiddie, Grimes, Marshall, and Lively, and we're at plus 43. So I just think it's going to take a couple of more games, probably another month or so to really get a good understanding of what these 5-man lineups look like. But Gafford, starting with the starting unit, they've been pretty solid. They're plus 8.8, and just can't beat that, honestly, right now. So I think keep it as is. Lively's still getting more minutes than Gafford, and, he's still playing more clutch minutes. So
it's a fair point. Also, since you're the advanced stat guy, without looking at the stat sheet tonight, who led the Mavs in plus minus?
Oh, damn! Without looking, I am going to say I'm gonna just have to go with I guess Lively. We'll go with Lively. Let's see what happens there.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
You know what's funny? All right, so we have a segment in
Hold on. How many minutes did Dinwiddie get though? How many minutes?
Spence got 18 minutes. That's valid.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
That's valid.
It's valid.
So to my point, we have a segment on the pregame show. We call it X Factors of the game. Dinwiddie was one of my X Factors today.
But he didn't play well. That's the thing. He did. I mean, I will say I've been a little impressed with his defense these last 2 games. That's something that stood out. I think, man, I had all things Mavs on the show last night, and we already talked about Dante. And when Dante comes back, I think that spot's his, because I cannot see any consistency with Jaden Hardy and Spencer Dinwiddie right now. You look at Quentin Grimes, though. I mean, man, he's someone who I think is going to be a massive contributor come playoff time. I think he proved it tonight. Just being able to hit that spark where it's like 2 straight threes immediately. The defense is really, really good. I was even impressed with Najee outside of the scoring aspect of things. Just the defense on Ant-Man, the facilitating. I mean, I believe he's averaging close to 3 assists a game, and having Najee on the floor, I think, people talk about all the time, it takes time to adapt your game to how Luka and Kyrie Irving play with the ball. And I think that's just something that's going to take a little time for Najee Marshall.
Yeah. And, to the whole Exum, I'd counter you a little bit. I'm not too crazy about Exum.
Just because of the playoff run?
Yep. I'm big. Look, hear me out. I am just big on playoff pressure, right? Dinwiddie has shown you that in a Game 7 against the Suns, him and Luka went toe-to-toe and took out the number 1 team in the West. When it came to the finals, our guy Exum shrunk, right? In the Western Conference Finals, he shrunk. So my thing is, I'm looking bigger picture, right? Like, yeah, he's going to be great for the regular season, but when I want someone to come off the bench and be able to keep the offensive, engine running and keep it afloat, keep it warm for Luka, it's going to be it's going to be Spencer Dinwiddie for me. I'd rather Jaden Hardy come in for Kyrie Irving, but that's just, my way of looking at it. But I think Exum is a good player, but when it comes to like facilitating and dribbling, I'm not the most confident with him doing that. He's great defensively. I'll give him that. But just to push back a little bit, I'll ride with Dinwiddie.
STiX. Now tell me if I'm wrong. The thing that my gut feeling with Dinwiddie is that when you bring up playoff Dinwiddie, that's 3 years ago come playoff time this year. Mm-hmm. 3 years is a lot in basketball, outside of LeBron James, obviously. But, the thing for me is I'm not sure if Dinwiddie can contribute at the level he did 3 years ago.
I argue with my son. You're not aware about my son's basketball genius as far as everything goes. I mean, dude's in there like, oh, I get who hit that? I'm like, sure, if that's the name of the guy. I mean, he knows like every player. A guy came in the other day and he's like, who is that? I don't even know. And I'm like, you're right. And he's like, oh, he's a rookie. That's why I didn't realize who it was. Some no-name rookie, right? So like I go back and forth with him. He's like, damn, what he sucks. And I'm like, look, when he left, it's only been a season and a half. We traded him with Kyrie, right? He was still averaging when he was in, he was still getting 15, 18, 22 points a game, right? And he's like, well, he looking at the Nets. He went to the Nets. Like who? Nobody cares when you're on the Nets. And then he goes to the Lakers last minute. They really didn't use him. Darvin Ham is a terrible coach. Nothing was going on with that team.
It's true.
And so you go, what's the sample size? Well, he came in yesterday and was a huge boost for us. Plus minus again today is good. He played good defensively. Didn't shoot as good, right? He didn't really do as much, but he did hit that 1-3 in the corner, which was kind of it was a vital 3 when he hit it. He got momentum shift back. And so I'm fine with Dinwiddie. I was excited that we got him for the backup point guard position. I think he knows how to play with Luka. He knows the offense with Jason Kidd, and he can come in and just be that burst of energy. And you know what the thing is, what's great about him? He will drive. Exum will drive when he feels like it, but then Exum would back off all the time. And you're like, dude, I need you in the paint. I need you going in to pull guys to you to kick out. And so we haven't seen that except for Luka. And so that's why I like Dinwiddie, is he's not afraid to make that drive that we need to draw the offense away from the 3-point shooting. So I still think Dinwiddie's a better option over Exum, even if Exum's back.
It's fair. It's fair. I don't know. The way I look at it is like, for me personally, I think obviously shooting was very bad in the NBA Finals. But one thing that really stood out for me was that we didn't have a third ball handler. And I look at Jaden Hardy. I definitely am not so sure of him being a ball handler. And then I look at Spencer Dinwiddie and Dante Exum, and I'm not really sure if I could decide between the two on who I'd rather in a playoff rotation.
Whose dribble do you trust the most?
Dante Exum.
Dante, okay. Yeah, we're
fundamentally speaking, Dante.
Yeah, I just so he.
Or maybe I say that wrong. I trust his facilitating more.
Facilitating more, okay. Yeah, I mean, we saw what Dinwiddie gave us 2 years ago, and so that my expectations of him aren't the same of 2 years ago. My expectations are you come in for a 6 to 12 minute spot, right? Same thing that would have been for Exum, and you just help keep the offense going. Whether you're getting assists or you're getting points, you just keep it going to where they're able to keep going and floating. Whether he's staggering minutes with Kyrie or he's out there with Clay, whatever the case may be, it's just more to have that veteran presence that knows how to be able to run an offense, do a pick and roll, things of that sort. That's all I'm really asking for. I'm not asking for him to give us 20 and 30 like he did 2 years ago. But I know Exum can't give us that and go create his own bucket, whereas Spencer could. And that's why I look at it from that perspective. I need teams to look at you like, oh, he's a little bit of a threat, versus Exum, I don't feel that, and so that's how I look at basketball in a way.
It's valid. And I guess, we won't really have the right idea until we see what Exum actually looks like when he returns. Yeah. Which hopefully we don't have to wait till Christmas time. Hopefully we get to see him sooner. But, lastly, I want to touch on Quentin Grimes still. That's someone who really stood out for me. Someone who's honestly stood out for me this whole regular season, not all in positive ways. But what I found about Quentin Grimes is that he finds a way to make an impact on the game outside of scoring regardless. And I think when you look at a playoff rotation, I think when you're going to want shooters on the floor and Klay Thompson's not in the game, and you see PJ Washington's not a consistent shooter. We have to be honest. Najee Marshall hasn't proven to be a consistent shooter in Dallas. So you look at Quentin Grimes, who can be a streaky high-volume shooter. I think you want him on the floor with Luka Dončić. And tonight, even with the on the floor with Kyrie, he proved it as well. Again, 3 for 5 from the 3-point line. Found a way to make an impact defensively. How are you guys feeling about the Grimes addition? And is it crazy to say that he's been the best addition when it comes to him, Najee, and Spencer?
I'll take it first.
Yeah.
I don't know yet if I would say he's been the best addition. This is the first time we've got to see his offensive output. And the issue I see, and I know TGK and I have agreed with this, we held the Boston Celtics to the lowest they had scored all year. We didn't have a defensive problem. We had an offensive problem. So the same problem I have with Najee right now is Grimes. Great tonight. Maybe that got his boost up, right? He got in a rhythm. He got minutes. He got shots. He did play well defensively, and that's the whole point. We want him to be the point of attack. And I thought there was one possession in particular where he bounced. I mean, he was all over the place, and he got back and covered and I think he got in front of like 5 different guys on one possession and really hustled his ass off. But I think the only issue I have is whether or not his offense is there, because I think right now we're proven defensively our team's pretty dang good. If the shots aren't falling, we're back to the same position we were with Josh Green. I mean, now, is he a defensive upgrade over Josh? Yeah, because Josh ran 140 miles an hour right at a guy. And how many times did Josh Green, late in the game, hit a foul, a three-point shooter, and you're like, oh, shit. Why? So I think we're definitely upgraded defensively. If that offensive and that 3-point shot, which is what we want him to do, it hits like it did tonight, Grimes is a heck of an upgrade. Like, we are in good shape, and that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah. I have been worried about that Josh analogy. I've heard it quite a amount of times.
What they say that Quentin Grimes is the LeBron James of Josh Green's.
Yeah, who said that one? I can't remember who said that.
I forgot who said that, but Quentin Grimes was
accurate.
a -1. He was the only one with a minus. Which those things, again, for those that are listening, don't take those things too serious. They just
at least by game by game basis, don't take it seriously. I think it's valid when you look at like a season or a career.
Oh yeah.
But game by game.
Yeah, his 3-pointers when he hit them were crucial moments. You needed those 9 points when you hit them, and it wasn't even like, oh, this was like a lucky shot. Like he would catch the ball in rhythm. He has this nice quick release. He has a really nice form too. Yeah. And he knocked him down. And if you were to ask me who would you have more confidence shooting a 3, Josh Green or Quentin Grimes, I ain't gonna like Quentin Grimes. In just that short time, I feel like I have more confidence with Grimes hitting a 3. With Najee, it has been a little bit underwhelming because maybe we overhyped a lot of Najee talk. I think we have. But again, he's also still learning this team. And he had a crucial steal at the end. So I think he just needs to get more playing time. And I think with Jason Kidd, he loves to take about 20 and 25 games to figure out this rotation, which is fine. But you're going to have to get something out of these guys. You can't keep running Luka out there 40 minutes a game. You can't. He got 40 minutes tonight, even with the injury. Klay Thompson giving you 30. I think 30's a bit much for Klay, to be honest. I think we should keep Klay at like 22 to 25 max, right?
Ooh. 22?
Yeah, 22 to 25. Like, so hear me out, Mason. Hear me out. I hate doing this to you. So a couple of years ago, I said we got to keep Maxey at like 18 to 22 minutes. It was 2 years ago, because this man he's starting to be on a downtrend and get hurt.
Right.
And we were playing him like 25, 27 minutes, and he got hurt. Last season, I was at a certain number. I was like, don't play him too much. You're going to get hurt. This year, I was like, please keep him at 12 to 15. Lower his numbers. They put him at 16, and he got hurt. It just, those minutes add up. And I'm very big about minutes. And for Luka, I would love for him to get to 36 and less, right? Those things stockpile over time. It's kind of like tires, right? You start wearing down your thread. And so with Klay, he's 34 years old. I need him in the playoffs, and we need our role guys to be able to fill in, some of that time. Up Klay's minutes in the playoffs, but not right now. Right now, getting 30.
The thing is though, is you can't play Klay 22 to 25 minutes right now with the way the bench guys are shooting.
And that's the tough part. That's the tough part about it. So hopefully this is just early season, right? Like this is, I don't know if you saw it. There were people I was saying, but other people were saying too. This is Luka's preseason, right? So hopefully once we get out of Luka's preseason, everything will be back to normal. Because if Luka,
it's been ugly.
If Luka's shooting 17 for 27,
it may have been ugly, but he hit the dagger, and that's all that mattered. He hit 1 3 tonight, and it was just an insult.
There's like 3 to 5 arenas where if it's in his hands and it's dagger time, he's hitting it. Like if it's a close game against Phoenix, typically he's gonna hit it. If it's a close game against the Wolves.
He was sitting back there. Shot. I'm like, that man hitting a 3 all night. I look at my kid. I'm like, he's going to do it. He's going to go for this shot. And he's like, I'm like, watch. And it's going to go in. And it did. I'm like, oh, my God.
I jumped out of my seat.
And what he said, we can't say because there's no cussing on the show. So, but what he said was absolutely hilarious because when they played it back, you're like, oh, he did say that.
He did.
Definitely said
I saw it. Shout out to Mavs highlights. He posted the clip first, but he's different, man. He's different in those late game situations. I mean, there ain't nothing you can do, but I mean, overall, just a huge team win tonight. I think we finally saw a legit 6-minute span, half a quarter span where it was like, okay, this offense is like gelling very well together. I thought there was moments where Luka and Kyrie were going back and forth. You look at the stat sheet and you're like, if you didn't watch the game, you'd be like, oh, Klay did not play good whatsoever. I thought Klay played completely fine. He had 2 threes, 2 for 7, but there was moments where he was guarding Anthony Edwards and got stops. I just don't think we could get him too involved in the offense. Shout out to the Timberwolves defenders. Obviously, they do a phenomenal job of covering him throughout the game. So not too worried about his performance. But as you guys know, Dallas Mavericks are heading back to Dallas for a matchup against the Houston Rockets on Thursday. Jalen Green has been on fire. Sengun has been having a good season. Some exciting matchups there. You guys down to preview it for a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Well, my first question to you guys is, you look at the starting lineups, who do you guys think takes that Jalen Green assignment?
Dang, that's a tough one. It's got to be Klay early on. It's got to be just to see what he gives you. I can see Kyrie taking that just because of the speed element, but Klay has been surprising. Not to be disrespectful, because people say, oh, he was washed, and I was like, can he not guard anymore? Like, what are we saying? He's been able to guard people.
Yes.
And so even with Anthony Edwards, as shifty as he was, Anthony Edwards went for 24 in the first quarter and only scored 13 after that. So the Mavericks defense locked up, right? They clamped up, and that's kind of crazy. But Jalen Green, a different animal. Is he the same animal like Anthony Edwards? No, but it's just a little bit different. But I think Klay will take that matchup early on.
I will give Jalen credit, though. He's been playing phenomenal this year.
He has those spurts. I think when they went on that 10-game win streak last year, he was unconscious for that.
Sengun was hurt too.
Yeah.
STiX, what do you think about the defensive matchup, man?
You never know, Jason Kidd. Every time we try to predict it, he's like, during the finals, we're like, this is the perfect matchup. We should put, and then you just like, or not. I guess that's not happening. And then all of a sudden, Luka would end up on a guy we said Luka should be covering. We're like, oh, look, Luka's clamping him. And then Kidd's like, get back off. Go back to that guy. Kidd, why are we back on that guy? Yeah. So you never know with Kidd. But, Klay has been actually really good defensively. He has definitely been affecting everybody he's been guarding. So I'm fine with whoever. But we kind of do a lot of switching. So when you're on them, it's not like we're really running a straight, man-to-man, like heads up on these guys. It's like, how many times did Lively tonight end up on Ant, right? We're like, why is Lively on Ant? But it's just the way we switch, and we don't make an effort to really go back. So, I think Klay will handle him at first, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah, and I think that's something Lively deserves a crap ton of credit for. You look at it in the Jazz game too. Homie was clamping Jordan Clarkson on the perimeter. Mm-hmm. And then you look at it tonight, the same thing with Ant. He does I think the coolest thing to watch about Lively's defense is him staying on his feet. We saw it in the Timberwolves game when Luka actually hit the game winner in game 2. He got that stop on Anthony Edwards. You see tonight staying on his feet. You saw it with Wemby. You saw it with Clarkson. So Dereck Lively, man.
He's the Wemby killer.
Yeah.
Wemby squad against Lively.
It's insane. It's funny, too, because Gaff did a pretty solid job on Wemby, too.
Yeah.
But
I think everybody did. PJ Washington was like, Wemby just can't play against us. Like, we just have his number. Like, it's a
dude, I do want the Spurs to succeed, though, because I would love to get that OG Mavs Spurs rivalry back. Great days.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I've been enjoying us beating them repeatedly because I remember like the early 2000s where they would just beat us repeatedly and win championships.
What about Game 7?
That one.
That
was like a championship. Which Game 7? The one that Dirk.
Yeah,
that was a great Game 7.
I think it was 06, right?
I have
06.
Yes, I have nightmares of Manu Ginobili getting away with murder, flopping all over the ground.
Oh yeah.
That man is the one who started the flopping in the NBA to the level it is now. That man was flopping all over the court, and I'm just like, bro, like.
Yeah, but we have had some great playoff matchups against the Spurs. I remember the 2014, was it?
Was that the Vince Carter?
Games. Yep. Yeah, that was a great series, but we botched it at the end. I ended up going to one playoff game when we beat the Spurs 4-1. I think it was 2009 or 2008. We met the Spurs in the playoffs, and it's like we forget about that series. It was just it was that fast. And I forget about it too. I was like, damn, can't remember this, but it happened. We beat them 4-1.
Yeah, it's an old rivalry. Hopefully, it comes back because now you're seeing it where it's like we have these random. It feels like whenever you beat a team in the playoffs, that's the rivalry. That's what it feels like. If you like ask the younger generation now, you say who's the Mavs rivals? They say the Suns, the Clippers, the Wolves, the Thunder. And it's like, okay, we just beat all those guys in the playoffs. Like, right. It's funny.
Look, they're not really rivalries. It's just the teams we've broken. OKC's coming. OKC will be broken after this year.
Who we get moved?
I don't know, but we're gonna break them because if they lose us again, they're gonna be broken.
Yeah.
So
that would be fun.
No. Knowing OKC. That GM will trade. Well, he's got so many first round picks. He literally has like 18 or 19 first round picks from like all these bad teams. What are you gonna do with all those?
There's no way. If he traded SGA, like there would be a revolt in the NBA.
I need to look at this.
Revolt.
That might be the hottest take I've heard this year so far.
All right, so
yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. It's probably the hottest take. That's crazy.
I am hot take TGK. Hold on, I can look up his age.
It's technical glitch, kid. Kind of like your camera quality this whole time.
That looks good on my end. I don't know what you're talking about. So,
Are you serious? Because if it looks good on your end, it is terrible coming through the feed.
Is it? Why did y'all say that?
It's a little blurry.
You're a blurry mess.
A little blurry. But guys, just to wrap up the show real quick, want to end it with a quick prediction. Mavs are at home against the Houston Rockets. Firstly, I think this is another game where Dereck Lively can prove he's better than a center. I think, man, I know people are going to disagree with me. This might be a hot take. I think Dereck Lively is better than Rudy Gobert at this point. I really do. I think the offense just heavily outweighs the defense because he's close to him in defense. In some aspects, he's better. So I have Gobert there. And then you look at this Lively Sengun matchup. That's where he can prove again he's better than a high caliber center in the NBA. So that's going to be interesting. My prediction is that the Mavs get a win against the Houston Rockets. I'm going to go 124-112.
124-112.
Assuming everyone plays.
124-112. That's pretty good because that's gonna be not an offensive, game for sure. If it's 124-112. Oh man, I might go a little bit lower because I'm gonna say like 115-108. 115-108 Mavs. It's gonna be because they're going to want to get all these teams want to get revenge, right? The Rockets probably felt we did them wrong when we ended their win streak, and then we beat them again to really take them out of playoff contention. So we did them in twice. So, they're probably holding some kind of motivation and resentment. So it's going to be a close game for sure. But I'll go 115-108. Hopefully Luka's out of his funk all the way. So I'll say 115-108.
STiX?
120-110.
21-10. Yeah, I like it. I think the Mavs have a safe win here.
I was looking when you were talking. I was looking over the stats between the two teams because I haven't really looked at all their stats, but I think it's pretty accurate. I think right now everybody's giving the Mavericks everything they've got. They're pissed off. They all want to beat Luka, and so everybody's going full bore, and it's it's just reality, and they can score. So, but I think you're gonna have, especially if we're on. Look, we're not even playing good yet. We just dropped one. How much again tonight? What was the exact? I forgot the freaking score.
120.
120. That was 120. That's what I thought. 129. We got 120. I mean, we're not even shooting good.
No. By the way,
dropping 120. So,
can we talk about how nice it is for the fact that Luka can have a game like this or 2 straight games like this, and we're still in the win column now? Like you look back like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, you're like, he has this kind of game, and we're losing by 30.
Yeah.
And now it's just, man, I mean, I saw people were talking about if Luka got hurt tonight that the Mavs would be screwed for the next 2 weeks. And I'm like,
are you looking at that one account? I'm just kidding.
No, but you think about it, man, it's just like, that's just absurdly false. I think regardless of Luka having a bad game, regardless of Luka being out, Mavs can compete. When you have Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson, Dereck Lively, the Mavs are competing against every team. So very excited for the season. Fellas, appreciate you guys hopping on this show. I'm going to have to come on to the pregame show sometime. So I appreciate y'all for joining, my man. Shout out the show real quick so everyone can hear about y'all if they don't know who you guys are already.
Yeah, so we host a Dallas Mavericks pregame show an hour and 15 minutes before every single tip-off. You can catch us on TGK TV. You can catch us on Twitter, on TikTok, but TGK TV on YouTube. I'm the co-host. I'm the host. Man, we both host. Sorry about that. We're both hosts, myself and STiX.
I'm the producer.
Producer as well. We built this show from the ground up, so there's no machine behind us. It's just us, just straight out of a passion of being Mavericks fans. So we do this show to entertain the fans before the games, man.
Awesome. Well,
real quick too, we do have Midnight Madness as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We do have our evening show that's not a pregame show, that's more like a regular podcast live interaction. So we do that on Friday or Saturday nights based on when games are. So we do have that too, when everybody can just kind of lay loose and have fun and interact and not just be all serious the whole time. So we have both shows.
I gotcha. Well, fellas, thank you guys for joining. Mavs fans, the Dallas Mavericks take down the Minnesota Timberwolves by a score of 120 to 114. The Dallas Mavericks are now 3-1, heading back home to the American Airlines Center as they take on the Houston Rockets. Hopefully get to that 4-1 record. Hopefully we can see a bit of a rebound game from Luka Dončić. As always, be sure to hit the follow button on X at Nation MFFL. Be sure to go tune into the fellas show. Hit the subscribe button for them as well. Hit the subscribe button for us. Be sure to like, comment. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and go Mavs.
Let's go Mavs. Appreciate it, man.